They say justice is blind, but in India, sometimes justice is also deaf. Deaf to the cries of the weak, deaf to the truth when it clashes with power. In February 2002, a young man was taken from a wedding. He was beaten, he was burned. His killers believed that fire would destroy the evidence. They believed political power would silence the witnesses. But they made one mistake. They didn't realize the fire they lit to destroy a son would light a fire inside a mother that would burn for 14 years. This is not just a story of a murder, this is the story of Neelam Katara, a school teacher who stood alone against an empire. This is the story of the Nitish Katara case. Welcome to Justice for the Unheard. The story begins at the Institute of Management Technology, IMT, in Ghaziabad. It was a place of dream for young Indians. This is where Nitish Katara, a 23-year-old with a bright future, met Bharti Yadav. Nitish was the son of a bureaucrat, middle class, educated, and polished. Bharti, however, was the daughter of D.P. Yadav, a man whose name in Uttar Pradesh was synonymous with fear, power, and politics. They fell in love. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it? But in the world where Bharti came from, love wasn't a choice. It was a political calculation. The Yadav family, specifically Bharti's brother Vikas Yadav and cousin Vishal Yadav, did not approve of the relationship. To them, Nitish was an outsider. He wasn't from their caste, he wasn't from their economic strata, he was, in their eyes, unworthy. But Nitish, he was an idealist. He believed love could bridge these gaps. He was, however, proven wrong. February 16, 2002. A wedding in Ghaziabad. Nitish and Bharti were both attending. Witnesses, they were happy, dancing, perhaps thinking their love had finally been accepted. But eyes were watching. Vikas and Vishal Yadav were there. The tension was thick. Around midnight, Nitish was called outside. Not dragged, but called. He went willingly, perhaps thinking they wanted to talk. He stopped and was asked to step inside a Tata Safari. License number PB07H0085. He was never seen alive again. When Nitish didn't return, his mother, Neelam Katara, knew. A mother's instinct is terrifyingly accurate. She went to the police, but the police in Ghaziabad hesitated. Why, you may ask? Because the accused was the son of a member of parliament. 3 days later, a body was found in Khurja, Bulandshahr. It was brutalized. The killers had smashed his face with a hammer and then set the body on fire to destroy DNA evidence. They wanted him erased. The body was so badly burnt that Neelam Katara could only identify her son by the size of his palm. Just imagine that, a mother recognizing her child only by his hand. That was the moment the teacher died and a warrior was born. Police eventually recovered the Tata Safari. Forensic experts found blood seeped inside it. But the real battle was just starting. The motive was clear. It was an honor killing. In the minds of Vikas and Vishal Yadav, Nitish's existence was an insult to their family pride. They believed their honor sat in the body of their sister, and by choosing her own partner, she had violated that honor. The police charged them under these sections: IPC Section 302, punishment for murder; Section 364, kidnapping or abducting in order to murder; and Section 201, which is causing disappearance of evidence of offense. But charging a powerful man is one thing, and convicting him is another. The trial began, and so did the dirty games. Witnesses started disappearing. Some suddenly had memory loss. This is common in India when the accused is powerful. But Neelam Katara did something unprecedented. She petitioned the Supreme Court to transfer the case out of Uttar Pradesh to Delhi, arguing that a fair trial was impossible in D.P. Yadav's backyard. The Supreme Court agreed. This was victory number 1. Now enters Katara. He had no relation to Nitish. He was just a man who happened to be at the scene. He saw Nitish in the Tata safari with Vikas and Vishal. He was later poisoned, threatened, and harassed. But unlike others, he did not break. He stood in court and pointed the finger. He is the unsung hero of the story. But where was the girl? Bharti Yadav, the woman Nitish loved. She was sent away to the UK. For 3 years, she avoided testifying. When she finally returned in 2006, the courtroom was packed. Neelam Katara watched as the girl she once thought might be her daughter-in-law stood in the witness box and hesitated. She tried to deny that said they were just friends. But the prosecution had love letters. They had photos. And under pressure, Bharti's story crumbled. She admitted to the intimacy. It was a heartbreaking betrayal for Neelam, but legally, it established the motive. The defense hired the biggest legal guns in India, including the legendary Ram J. They argued there was no kidnapping, that Nitish went willingly. They argued the evidence was circumstantial. They tried to tear apart the witness testimonies. But the prosecution, led by a dedicated team and fueled by Neelam's relentless pressure, held firm. They used the last seen theory. Since Nitish was last seen with the accused, Vikas and Vishal, it was up to them to explain what had happened to him. In May 2008, the trial court found Vikas and Vishal Yadav guilty. They were given life imprisonment. But Neelam wasn't done. She said, "This isn't just a murder, it was a message to society." She wanted a tougher sentence. The case went to the High Court and then the Supreme Court. In 2016, the Supreme Court of India delivered a historic judgment. They didn't just give them a life sentence, which in India can sometimes mean release after 14 years. No, the Supreme Court sentenced them to 25 years without remission. It was a fixed-term sentence, which basically means a judicial innovation where the court specifies a minimum jail time that cannot be reduced by government pardon or good behavior. The court ruled this wasn't just an honor killing. It was a crime driven by a caste-based superiority complex. They stated clearly, no brother has a right to decide who his sister marries. Neelam Katara fought for 14 years. She lost her son. During the trial, she lost her husband to an illness. She lost her safety, her privacy, and her peace. But she won. Because of her, the term honor killing became a national conversation. Because of her, powerful men learned that they cannot simply burn the truth. Nitish Katara couldn't tell his story, so his mother wrote it for him, in the ink of court orders and the sweat of 1,000 hearings. Thank you for watching. If you believe in justice, share and like the story. Let's make sure no one forgets the name Nitish Katara.